Welcome back to my channel, and this is going to be a video about me and my mental health and how I am as a person, and just a little bit more about me and how I grew up and everything, and why I am the person I am today. Ever since I remember from when I was in like kindergarten, really young, like around 5 years old, I don't remember ever really talking to people, like unless it was just my immediate family, because I don't really know, like I felt it just didn't come naturally to me, but at the same time I thought eventually that it would, I would become normal, but I just don't really remember socializing that much as a child, and it was to the point where I didn't even like to show my emotions as far as smiling or laughing. Like I felt like I had to keep like a straight face. I didn't really hang out with anyone. If anyone I hung out with, it would be my brother, just my brothers pretty much, or my mom and dad, and it was only because like those were the only people that I felt comfortable around. And whenever I was around like large gatherings with like my extended family or just people in general that I didn't know, like especially in school, I just didn't know how to talk to anyone, so I would just like out in a way like hide, like look away, or like hide my face, like I don't know, like I was just terrified of just talking to people or even making eye contact or anything, and it was just really bad, like especially in school or in kindergarten. Like I didn't even want to ask to go to the bathroom. Like it was so bad to where when we had nap time and I had to go pee, I would literally, before I raise my hand or even run to the bathroom, I would just pee where I'm at, and that was very embarrassing. And I remember many times where my mom would have to come bring me clothes, and it would be in front of everyone in kindergarten. They knew that I peed on the chair, or I would pee like on the mat and everything, and I just hated it. But it was less terrifying to me, I guess, than to tell someone I had to use the bathroom. And then when I was in the bathroom, it was probably the only safe space I felt, because I'd rather be there than be out in front of all my other classmates and stuff like that, because I felt more safe being alone away from them. But I just felt like I didn't fit in. Like I felt like it was something to do with maybe my voice, and I felt like I had like a really deep voice, so in a way I was embarrassed of talking. And then I also think it was because I didn't have like a southern accent, maybe, because all the other girls did, and I just felt like I just didn't sound right or something. I don't really know, but like I hated like speaking at all, because it felt like when I did speak, because I would go all day pretty much without speaking until I came home. If anything, if someone asked me a question, or I would just stand there and I wouldn't answer it. I would just do yes or no questions, and then when I would answer them, I would be like, yes, or not say yes, but I would just nod my head or do like that. And then I remember when, like, I pretty much didn't speak up until like high school a little bit, or maybe, yeah, I think it was high school. But when I did start speaking a little bit, everyone would be like so amazed and everything, and then I hated the attention. I didn't like how everyone was so like making such a big deal about it, because I mean, I don't know, I just felt like it made me feel even more weirder because I went so long without speaking when I was in elementary school. And when I did, it was just like a big deal. Everyone made such a big deal when I did start to speak. And I just didn't like it because it was just more attention in a way. Like, I didn't like attention at all. And then I was also really, really self-conscious. Like, I don't look really anything like how I used to look when I was younger. Like, I kind of changed my identity and everything. And, like, it's kind of why, like, I go by Bree instead of Brianna, because Brianna kind of reminds me of when I was younger in elementary school and stuff, to when I was this different person. And I've changed a lot since then. Like whenever I even hear my whole name, it kind of makes me cringe and puts me back in that time period where I just kind of hated myself in a way. And for the most part, I didn't really have any friends at all, like, for a long time. And I did have one friend in kindergarten, and I actually felt so comfortable around her, and I would actually speak to her. But I never hung out with her or anything. But I do remember being like kind of jealous, I guess, if she ever talked to anyone else, because I was so like desperate for friends in a way. Like, I was afraid that she would find someone else like more interesting or something like that. And it didn't really last long because she ended up moving away, and I never kept contact with her or anything. And I was so young. I remember I think it was kindergarten. But anyways, when she left, it was just like I kind of just didn't really have any other friends in kindergarten. Like, I do remember when there was one time when I think, honestly, well, pretty much after elementary school, I think, yeah, I was homeschooled in 6th grade, and I was glad because I hated school so much. I hated the whole thing of everything. Like, I hated the fact that, if we had a project or something, that I'm gonna have to find a partner and find someone. Like, I would never be the one to want to like find the partner. I would always be the last pick, and I would always have to like wait till I'm always the last pick for either the teacher to pair me with someone who was also the last pick, or I don't know, I never felt like anyone would want to be my partner in school. And I hated those times when they would do that, because then I would have to pretty much have confrontation, which I don't like, and then I would have to, I would feel bad for the people with me, because I felt like I knew they'd rather be with someone else or something like that. So, after being homeschooled in 6th grade, I do believe I went back to regular public school in around 7th and 8th grade, and we had moved to a different area, and so I thought it would be different, maybe, like it was the people or something that was around in the area that I grew up. But yeah, I went back to school, and pretty much nothing had changed. I was kind of the same, like to where I just didn't talk to anyone, and I felt so like different, and like no one would like me and everything. And I do remember actually in 7th and 8th grade there was some girls who did want to hang out with me and invited me to some like little party things, but it's like I wanted to go and enjoy it, the things that people would invite me to, but I would always try and find an excuse to not go because I just didn't want to have to deal with feeling anxious and stuff, and I knew I would just end up being like weird and just left out. So I would always try and make an excuse to not go instead of actually going, because I wouldn't know how to act, I guess. And so that kind of, it's almost like I was self-sabotaging if I did get someone who did seem to show interest in me. And if they did, I probably would think that it's like probably fake, maybe. And yeah, and I think after that I was homeschooled again. I think I was, yeah, I went all the way up until 9th grade without being homeschooled, and then after that in 10th grade I was homeschooled again. And I do remember there being I think there was one person who actually in elementary school that was actually tried with me. And I did remember that. And I always felt guilty because I think most people thought I didn't like them because I didn't say much. Even though I was like, inside I was like, wow, I can't believe they actually have interest in me and everything. And I would always, it's like I hated people who, I didn't hate people, but I mean I hated that they did have interest in me, but at the same time I liked it, but I didn't know how to show my emotions, like to show that I actually did like them. But anyways, she would always joke with me and everything, and she'd make me smile and laugh, and but like I said, that elementary school, I ended up moving to a different town, and you know, I didn't really keep contact with her. I didn't really keep contact with much of anyone, you know, if I did move. But pretty much it was always the same. Like anything I would try different, like, and it's not like I was like, it was my parents' fault for not socializing me. It was more like on my end. I just didn't like it, and I didn't want to put myself out there, because I remember my mom putting me in, I think it was called the brownies, I think, like for Girl Scouts, stuff like that. And then but it didn't really do anything because I didn't want to go. So eventually, you know, I would not go. Like I would, you know, really say like, oh, to my mom, like I was like, I don't want to go and everything, and ended up like I wouldn't be, you know, I would get taken out of it because I just wouldn't show up. Like I hated it. So it's kind of like I prevented myself from socializing with people, because like my brother like had no problem with socializing. He had friends all the time, like was very popular and stuff, and like it just didn't come easy for me, and I don't really know why. Like, but little by little I've gotten better coping mechanisms with things by just like putting myself out there and everything. Like pretty much I started changing a little bit more and more after I got my first car at 19. That's when I got my license. I was terrified of getting my license for a long time. Like, I didn't want to drive, and I still don't really like to drive. Like, usually my fiance will drive, if anything. I mean, I'll drive if I have to, but I prefer not to. So, but pretty much, yeah, at that point, when I got my first job, I was still very odd and everything. Like, my first job was at Home Depot, and because like it was weird. Like, I couldn't get a job anywhere. Like, even in McDonald's, like Walmart and everything. Like, I would try. Like, when I couldn't get a job. Like, I always wanted a job because I always wanted to make money to be able to like buy clothes and stuff like that. Like, just, I don't know. But yeah, it was a very big struggle on finding a job the way I was. And it's almost like people thought that, I think they thought that I was like stuck up or something, because I remember going to an interview at Subway, actually, and it was like a weird, because she was just being kind of rude and mean to me for absolutely no reason, just because I wanted a job. And when I was doing the interview with her, she was just like, oh, you just want a job to buy more clothes and stuff like that. What do you want to spend your money on? You just want to spend your money on that. Like, I mean, that just sounds crazy. Like, why would you go on an interview and they want to know what you want to spend your money on? That's none of their business. But that's the stuff I dealt with. And then I remember when I went on an interview for McDonald's, the lady, I didn't understand how things went, like, with interviews, and she was asking me what things I things I like to do or something like that, or a little bit about me. And so I kind of grew up on a farm with like lots of animals and stuff in the country. So I was telling her about, like, my goats and chickens, stuff like that, and she just looked at me like, and rolled her eyes like I don't know. I didn't know how things work like that. So people were just really rude to me at interviews, and it was just like a struggle to find anything. But I eventually ended up getting a job at Home Depot. It was my first job. And I was really thankful for that, because honestly, I'm kind of glad I never did the fast food thing. I felt like, well, maybe I wasn't meant to do fast food and stuff like that. But I just figured as a first time job that's usually what people get, when they're younger, like, something like that. But, anyways, like, when I started working there, I don't know. It was kind of hard at the same time. Like, I liked it because it was pushing myself to do something out of the ordinary. And when I did start working there, that's when I first experienced, like, with men, like, how they showed interest in me, because I didn't really have that before then at all. And when it first happened, it kind of made me feel, like, really sick, because, like, I was, like, 19, and then I would have these men who were, like, 50 years old hitting on me and stuff, and it would just make me feel like I wanted to throw up when I was at the register. And it was just strange, because I wasn't used to such a thing, and I thought it was weird. Like, why do they want someone so young and everything? It really just put a bad taste in my mouth. And up until recently, like, I used to research other videos on, like, YouTube about I used to research other videos on YouTube to see, like, if other people were like me and stuff like that. And I would look up things like, about not having friends and stuff like that. Like, because I felt really weird that I didn't have friends. Like, it was really another embarrassing thing for me, because it didn't seem like everyone had friends, you know what I mean? And I thought that, eventually I would just have friends and they just happen. Like, it's almost like it made me feel like I guess I just didn't put in the effort with other people to actually make friends. But I didn't realize I had to put effort in like that or something. And I'll see if I can find a picture of me from when I was younger to show you like how different I look now. Like, honestly, I naturally have like blonde hair, and I dye it black because I've always wanted darker hair, but like when I was born, I had like really really white hair. It was like I was called a towhead. I guess, I don't know, that means something like being really blonde, but then I always had like darker eyebrows, so I don't know. I just like the dark look on me more than the lighter hair. But it's like almost like I changed my identity because I didn't want to be associated with who I was back then, and I've changed a great deal. Like, especially since meeting my fiance. Like, he's helped me tremendously in how to open up and stuff. Because, like, before him, I had never even, like, had a boyfriend or anything. And he's pretty much taught me how to do everything. Like, he even had to teach me how to kiss. And I remember on our first date, like, I was so awkward and stuff, and that, like, even when he hugged me, I didn't even really know how to respond to that because I wasn't used to that type of affection, I guess. So I remember on that first day, I wrote him as soon as I got home and told him, like, like how I was a virgin and I've never done anything with anyone, because I didn't want him to think that I didn't like him, because I knew that people would think that, because, but people I went on dates would think that, because I wasn't showing interest, but I just was afraid to, I guess. Again, like, I'm just like, I was just terrified of being a person, it seemed like. And it seems like, as for now, like, since I've kind of changed a little bit more, now I have more of the trouble is, like, my appearance. I feel like the reason, like, I don't make very many friends is because they're intimidated by me, is whatever people always told me, that I'm just intimidating, and I don't understand it, because I would try and make conversation with people and smile at them and stuff like that, and like I just don't understand like how to not be intimidating, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with the way I look now, and people just like don't know how to take it. Like, as far as like me getting like girlfriends and stuff like that, like I've always wanted like to have like girlfriends, and it usually end up like, I feel like I would be awkward and stuff, and people would mistake me for being like stuck up or something, or if I was quiet, like I was just being like a snob or something. And I don't know, like, it's very hard to make friends like that, it seems. But like, I didn't know if I had a problem or anything, and like, well, I figured I had a problem, like, because I seen everyone around me, like, being normal and socializing and talking to other people, like, no big deal. But when I was, I think, like 23, I went to a doctor, and like, I was usually against taking medication or anything like that. Like, my family wasn't really for taking medication and stuff like that. So, and I really didn't want to take anything, because I was kind of afraid, like, I was afraid of what it would do, or maybe I didn't think it would do anything. And I remember my first medication being Lexapro, and when I took Lexapro, it was just like, I loved it. It made me feel so happy, and I felt so like alive, and it made me have like more emotions and everything, because I used to think that people with who were like excited and showed like, you know, I used to think that people were faking their emotions in a way. Like, I was just like, that's not real. Like, they're probably just overreacting, like, to get attention or something. But no, when I took that, I actually could feel things. Like, I could feel like I felt happy, and I wasn't afraid to talk to people, and it was kind of like I was a different person for a while, but I liked it, and I felt like it was more of what I would like to be like. But I took it for about for 6 months, and it worked for 6 months, and then it just stopped working. So I switched to another medication, thinking that that would work, and then it honestly didn't really do anything. I think I switched to like, or no, I raised it. I think I started taking like, I started out with like 10 milligrams of Lexapro, and then the doctor raised it like, I think to 20, I believe, and it stopped working like after 6 months, and it's almost like I wanted that same feeling and I couldn't get it. So then I switched to a different medication, which was, I think it was Prozac at the time, and pretty much any of the medications I took didn't really do anything. So I just kind of stopped taking everything, and it kind of put me a little bit back into like the quiet with not really much emotions again. But it's almost like the Lexapro did help me open up my mind to, you know, feel different and know what it feels like to feel like really happy, I guess. And so I've kind of, through the years, like I'm 28 now, throughout the years, like I've took different stuff, and up until recently I've been taking, I think it's like a form of Ritalin, and because I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, because I've always thought I've had like anxiety and like depression, but I've never been depressed to the point where I went to kill myself or anything, you know. It was just more like I was just content. It was just like nothing made me like overly excited or something, or like happy and stuff like that. So, but I assumed it was just normal, maybe. But when I was on Lexapro, everything like that would make me happy for like, that was normally like a happy, small amount of happiness. It was like a huge amount. Like, I would be over exaggerated about things and stuff like that. It's kind of like it put me in like a manic stage, which when I told my doctor that, she was like, oh, well, you might have bipolar or something like that. And I didn't really think so. I mean, I don't really know, but I liked the way the manic felt, because I felt so good on it. Like, I was just content and just being around people, and it didn't bother me like it used to bother me. I do hope a lot of people find this video interesting, and I hope that it helps other people that are like me out there to know that, like, you're not the only one who struggles with this, and that no matter who you are, like, everyone has their problems and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people judge me for the way I look, like thinking like, oh, you shouldn't have depression, or you shouldn't have depression, or you shouldn't be anxious or something. You've got nothing anxious because the way you look and stuff like that. But it's like, everyone has their own problems, you know what I mean? And you shouldn't be judged for the way you look, that like, oh, you're too beautiful to have problems, like stuff like that. Like, and I've made this video because I want people to know, like, the real me and who I am as a person, and understand why I'm the way I am, even though I'm trying to get better every day with, you know, how I am, and to open up more with people, and just to let people know, like if I'm being really quiet, like I'm not trying to be stuck up or this, that I don't like them. It's just more that it's hard for me to reach out to people and have a connection with someone. And it's really something that I really do want. The only person that I've really had a real connection in my life, other than my family, has been my fiance. And he's actually been the only guy I've been with. And he really has helped me open up a lot, and I'm really lucky to have met him, because if I hadn't, I feel like I would have ended up in like some kind of abusive relationship, or someone would have taken advantage of me because I didn't know any better. But like before the medication, I never drank alcohol really until I never really drank alcohol until I met my fiance, and he showed me it, and like at age 22. And when I took that, I was like, wow, this is why people drink that. Because at first I was like, I don't understand why people drink alcohol, because I had tried it when I was younger, like a wine cooler, and I was like, I don't understand the point in drinking it. And now, like, it's kind of like been a way for me to open up when around people. Like, I kind of get anxious, and it kind of helped me. But like, it became like where I kind of used it as my crutch. I kind of used it as my crutch, and like from then on out, like I just loved drinking alcohol because it made me feel so much more normal and would calm my nerves down. So in a sense, it kind of made me, not like I'm an alcoholic, but like, well, see, like I didn't feel like it was that bad because I didn't start drinking till I was 22. So, and most people start drinking like really young age, it seems like, around me. And I was like, wow, I understand why people take this now, or drink alcohol now, because it really makes you feel so much more like calm and steady and stuff like that. So I would kind of use that, like if I was to go to any like events or something with him, or like parties or stuff like that, I would usually have to have alcohol, and kind of a large amount, because it just would calm me more and make me be more social and stuff like that, which I don't really like that I have to drink to be more social, but it's helped me, if anything, you know. And I also made this video because I actually got a lot of positive feedback from my experience with Lexapro. That I think that was like my first video I made, and at the time that's when I was on Lexapro, and you probably could tell that I was very happy and like really carefree and stuff like that. So I decided to do this because I've got so much outreach from that video that I thought I'd share a little bit about me more with all you. I'd share a little bit about me with everyone, to know like really who I am, instead of just like I did make those videos about Fashion Nova, and I enjoyed doing it, but at the same time I felt like people would judge me because they don't really know who I am. So that's why I'm making this video, to let people know like I do struggle a little bit with like mental health things and overthinking things, and just really